Okay, so I promised that we would go one step further, but the first thing I want to do is talk to you about how can you use your calculator to get these ratios if they're not here, right? So what does it actually mean to be the sine of 21 degrees? What does that ratio actually mean? Where is it? Well, it means that in a triangle, if I was to draw a right triangle, and I was to mark this angle 21 degrees, that the sine opposite over hypotenuse, so the sine ratio of opposite over hypotenuse would equal some very specific number. And how do we get that specific number? Well, we get that specific number by using our calculator. So we have to be good with our calculators, and we're going to be using these a lot this year. So if I want to find the sine of 21 degrees, the first thing I have to do is press mode, and I want to make sure that my degree button is highlighted. We're going to do radians this year, but for now we're going to do degrees. Those are what you're used to. There are 380 degrees when we take one angle and we go around a circle and we go around it 360 degrees. Okay? So this is our degree measure. So what is the sine? So we're going to quit out of that. What is the sine? We press the sine button of 21 degrees. What is that ratio? It's actually 0.358367 blah, 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 blah. All right? What we want to always do is we want to either be able to use this entire thing, which we're going to be able to do this year because I'm going to teach you how to store this number in your calculator. But for the time being, let's just do it to the nearest 10,000ths because that's kind of convention. We always kind of use 4 digits. So we have to look at the nearest, the thousandth. The 10,000ths is 3. 6 is next to it, so we put that up to a 4. So 0.3584. So the sine of 21 degrees equals 0.3584. And that's just a fact. That's a statement that every single triangle, if I draw it this little or if I draw it really big on the entire page, as long as the angle degree here is 21 degrees, the ratio of the opposite leg to the hypotenuse will be this number, this decimal. Okay? So how do we find tan 22? Again, we don't have to clear it out, we can, but we press the tan button and we press 22 degrees. And we get 0.40402, so this 2 doesn't change that, so I write 0.4040. And I can keep doing this. What is the cosine of 21? Cosine, not 21, 20. The cosine of 20, and I don't have to close my parentheses. I can, but I don't have to. See, I'll show you cosine of 20, even if I don't close the parentheses, but it's always a good habit to get into closing the parentheses, is 0.93969. So this 9 is going to bring that 6 up to a 7. So this equals 0.9397. Okay? Now I'm just going to use a different color to switch it up. The sine of 77 degrees. And this is all on the worksheet that you guys got, the practice, the skill worksheet that you got in class yesterday. So the sine of 77 degrees equals 0.974, and this 7 brings that 3 up to a 4. Okay? And we could keep going, but I'm going to stop there. So the question is if I have this ratio and I don't have this number, if this number doesn't exist for me, if it's called x, how do I go from this ratio back to 77 degrees? So again, this is where we have to use our calculator. You know that all of the blue on the calculator means that if you want to get to this blue, you have to press the second function. So we're just going to do the inverse function. The inverse function is when you see that sine to the -1, and we have cosine to the -1 and tangent to the -1. That means we're just going to go backwards. So I'm going to press, I'll leave this here, I'm going to press the inverse function of my cosine, so it's going to come up and look like this, and I'm going to put this decimal, 0.9397, into my calculator. And the calculator will give me something that's pretty close to 20 degrees. It won't give me exactly 20 because we rounded this one. So if I press enter, look at that, 19.998 degrees. So I can simply say that the cosine, the unknown measurement, is going to be 20 degrees. If I want to do this over here, let's go back to our first page, and I want to say, well, what is the A degree? If I know that 30 over 16 is the tangent of A, what does this degree measure actually measure? What is it? So I'm going to do that in my calculator. I do second function tangent, which gives me the inverse of tangent, and I put this number into my calculator. I can put 30 over 16 if I want, 61.9275 degrees. Or I could also put in 1.8750. Doesn't matter. Either way, it's going to come up with the exact same angle measure because the ratio is the same. So now I can say, let's say to the nearest tenth, that A degrees equals 61.9 degrees. And that's a quick video. We're going to stop there and you're going to practice this some more.